Nakamura, yeah, it means that he's slightly more confident now. And that's because Wesley has repeated the position. He retreated his knight. He didn't need to. If we just bring things up, Nakamura, he dropped his bishop back to attack this knight. White could leave it. He could just leave that knight. He could start going for this weak pawn that we were talking about. White has a huge advantage. He's just going to win a pawn. Instead, Wesley, he retreated his knight, allowing Black to bring the bishop back. This is the second time we've seen this position. If the position repeats itself again for a third time, the game is automatically declared a draw. Wesley, let's just hope that he's feeling brave and he goes for the win because he has a huge advantage.
He's put his knight there and now the bishop will go back. And he has done what you said.
Wow.
I breathed a huge sigh of relief there because for a second, Wesley was playing with us, telling us that maybe he was going to go for a draw. But no,
he has realised he has a great position here. Okay.
Yeah, he knows that he has a great position. It was just, we've seen Wesley be very pragmatic before and just take draws in positions where he was winning. But OK.
Yeah, for example, yesterday, Wesley, he went to the Armageddon match against Rajabov and he was completely winning. He had an extra rook, but he still took the draw because he knew that that was enough for him to win. Today, I'm glad he's playing for the win, though. He knows that he won't get too many chances against Nakamura and he has to take those chances when they come. Nakamura there advancing with his queen one square. He's aiming at a pawn on the left side there, one of White's unprotected pawns. But
does the computer now think White is completely winning this?
That's right. I think White has actually several ways to win this position. Maybe if we bring up the analysis board, we can talk about White's options. Black's last move, attacking this pawn. It's not defended, but that pawn is doing nothing. Black will have to lose a lot of time with his queen if he wants to go after that pawn. Meanwhile, White, for example, could just shuffle his rook across two squares.
I love that move. And then you're threatening. Because you can't... One thing that we have to point out, you can't actually take that pawn now because there will be a pin. The bishop will come out and you can see those two rooks are on the same diagonal. So that's not possible. So I love your move of doubling along that line.
Rooks love a bit of teamwork. And if you can double up your rooks, if you can put them on the same line as each other, that is normally a good sign. I think that would be an extremely strong move here from Wesley. So
yeah,
he's got a bit of extra time here. OK, now the clocks have equalised. The only thing that can hold him back here is if he panics. Nakamura can be a scary opponent when you've only got 1 minute on your clock. He finds that move. He has doubled up his rooks on the same line there. Very strong play by Wesley.
And you can just see those two rooks are going to be so powerful once the line is clear. And I love the next move because Hikaru has defended that pawn. But Wesley is not content with being dominant on the left-hand side of the board. He's gone to the right as well, just to overstretch Hikaru Nakamura.
That's right. Imagine you're being, as Nakamura now, you're being attacked from the right, attacked from the left.
And you're worse in the centre as well.
and you're worse in the centre of the board. Everything is going wrong for him. We notice as well, as soon as Hikaru brought his bishops to the left side, Wesley attacks on the right side and there's a huge threat in the position.
Exactly. Oh, OK. So Hikaru has spotted that.
That's right. If we bring up the board just very quickly, we can see Wesley, he has a huge threat. He just brought his queen forward. He's threatening to move this knight now. He's threatening to give a check to the black king. And more importantly, once he moves that knight, there would be a discovered attack against the black queen. This queen is not protected, so black would lose a queen in that position. Therefore, Nakamura, he sidesteps. There's no way to give check with the knight right now. But White has a few winning moves. He could just take this pawn with the queen. Or he's sacrificed the bishop. He's going for checkmate. He's played bishop takes pawn, sacrificing itself. If the pawn takes the bishop, there's a few ways to win. He can just sneak into the position with his queen. Queen and knight, we've mentioned it in other games. We mentioned it in this one. Queen and knight together, they're going to give checkmate. Such great teamwork.
Yes, and there's just no way that queen, the black queen, can hop over to protect her king. You know, we have this kind of jokey saying, a queen always protects her man. But here the black pieces cannot do that because that knight is so powerful. You know, Kasparov said a knight on that square is worth at least a pawn. And yeah, just look at Hikaru. He knows it's over.
Look at Hikaru's face. He's nodding, he's shaking his head, and we know...
He's taken the bishop, and Wesley has taken the pawn, and now the king has sidestepped.
That's right. All Wesley needs to do now is bring one of his rooks into the attack. At the moment, he's got a queen attacking, he's got a knight attacking, but the rooks aren't helping. Look at the black king. It has no defenders around it. It just needs one more attacking piece to overwhelm black's defences. So at the moment, as white, I would just want to bring one of those rooks towards the black king. There's a few ways of doing it. I think Wesley, he just needs to be slightly careful. and he needs to play quickly. But once one of those rooks enters the game, that will be over.
Yes.
All right. Well, we know from the interview with Wesley So yesterday, he said he would not have Hikaru Nakamura's webcam up on his screen. He did not want to see Hikaru Nakamura because he makes so many faces and he shakes, and you can definitely see now he is not happy with the position for himself.
Yes, he knows that he's on his last legs. There's no way going back and saving this. But yeah, absolutely, David's called it there. If Wesley manages to get one of the rooks to stand opposite the Black King, it will be game over. There is nothing to be done. So now, yeah, he's going to do it. The rook has moved and it wants to take a little bit of a long route, but I think it's going to get there.
That's right. If we bring up the board, we can see the route of this white rook. This rook, it takes a while, but there's just 2 moves now. If the rook can just jump up 1 square and shift itself across, if it can lift itself across, this will get at the Black King. This will end up in checkmate.
Yeah.
So Nakamura, he needs to try and stop this. I don't think there's a way to stop this. He just doesn't have any protection around his own king.
Yeah, and you know, you can just have a look at Black's extra materials. There are 2 bishops, which are normally really powerful, but they're on the wrong side of the board. They're on the left-hand side, and there's no way that those 2 bishops can ever go back to help the king. So you can just imagine if the king could talk and put out a call of distress, not one single piece could answer his aid. They were like, well, sorry, mate. You're on your own.
That's right. And Hikaru, he's trying his best to get rid of the attacking pieces. He's lifted up his rook. He's going to take that white knight next move, no matter what, pretty much. But I don't think that's going to help Wesley, so he can just lift his rook up again. Nakamura, he's trying his best, but once that rook joins the action, that will be the end of the game. We can see Nakamura, we talked about his faces many, many times before. He has different faces for different occasions, but once he starts to exhale a lot, breathe out a lot, he knows it's all over.
And the rook has moved up and... Oh, Wesley.
Wow, Wesley, so he doesn't even capture the black rook last move. I would have taken that rook off.
I would have given a check and then taken it.
Instead, Wesley, he leaves the black rook on the board. He's going for checkmate. That queen, white's rook. They're just going to drive up the board, and checkmate is coming. Black is going to have to lose his queen just to survive a few more moves. I think this one won't go on too much longer. Checkmate is coming.
Yes, OK, we're going to see it, Kaya. And now
we will see the check. Oh!
Did Hikaru react like he didn't see that check happening?
Just jumps off his chair, and in the all-American semi-final battle between Wesley So and Hikaru Nakamura, Wesley So is now in the driver's seat. He is 1 point up. He won the second game. Wow, that is impressive by Wesley against the online king, Hikaru Nakamura.
Very impressive by Wesley. Also, he overcame his own demons. Sometimes he's his own worst enemy. He takes draws in great positions. But this time, no, he turned down the chance to make a draw, and he went for the win. Very impressive stuff.
All right. Well, David, I think we need to go. It was fast in the end there. It was dramatic in the end there. Can you actually show us where Wesley got the win here?
Sure, yes, Kaya. I mean, it was so fast, so dramatic, and it all started from a big sacrifice. Wesley So in this position, we talked about his attacking pieces. He has a queen attack. Well, he has a queen attacking. He has a knight attacking. He also has this bishop, and therefore he decided now is the time. I'm going to break open the defenses of the Black King. Going to destroy that shelter. He sacrifices the bishop for a pawn. That bishop has to be taken. Now he takes a pawn with his queen. This queen is going to jump up the board, deliver checkmate very short.